Hello, welcome to my channel, A Book Forest. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the Under Heaven duology by Gavriel. So the first book is Under Heaven, and then the second book is River of Stars. Those can be read independently from each other. They're not necessarily linked that much together. It's just like they're kind of set in the same world and the same themes and the same country. So as usual, Gavriel does this pseudo-history books with fantasy in them. So this is based on China. So the country is Kitai, and this is based on at the end of the Tang Dynasty, and this is based on the end of the northern Song Dynasty, somewhere around so those are two books set in at the end of an era. So it gives them a very strange flavor. Like it's not the culmination of like all the heroes doing things and then it culminates in a big victory or anything. It's more like a decline of civilization. It's very interesting, this angle. It's not usually done that way, but I enjoyed it. So Under Heaven is the story mainly of Tai, who is the second son in a family. And the father dies 2 years previous, and to honor his father and to mourn him, because while you're mourning for 2 years, you can't do anything else. So either you stay home and you mourn with your family. Well, what he chose to do, Tai, is go to a lake in the mountains on the border of another country that they were at war with. And it's a set of a very terrible battle had happened, and his father was part of that battle, and it haunted him his whole life. And there's like ghosts haunting this set, like in the mountains. Like there's a lake in mountains, and there's ghosts all around. And Tai is alone with those ghosts for 2 years, and he's just digging graves for the bones that are laid there. And every time he digs a grave for the bones, there's one ghost that stops roaming. So basically he's putting the people to peace from both sides. He doesn't just do his side, he does also the enemy's side. For this reason, both garrisons from both countries that are set near him are just sending him provisions, and they're kind of honoring what he's doing. And this sets in motion a change of destiny for him, because he did that, the empress of the enemy country, who is the daughter of his own emperor, decides to gift him with an ungodly amount of horses, the heavenly horses they call them. Kitai is a country that loves horses. They venerate them almost, and the specific horses are the best in the world, and Kitai does not have that many of them. They can't really access them because they're not close to the country that raises them. So the fact that he's been gifted all of those horses means that he's become a very, very important person in the world. And right at the same time that happens, an assassin is sent to him. So he needs to figure out who wants him dead, and also probably other people will want him dead now, or will want to, steal the horses or get him to give them the horses, or he's a piece of on the chessboard now, and he knows it. So it's all his story, and he goes, all around Kitai, and we learn a lot about the country and about the politics. The emperor is aging, and he has a courtesan, a lady that he loves, who is one of the most beautiful women that ever lived. And there's a big deal general who is kind of a barbarian, but he's such a good general that he's been given a lot of power. And there's also the prime minister, who is the relative of the concubine. So all of those people are trying to get their vision for Kitai to emerge. They're not all in agreement, and Tai is kind of set in the middle of all of those little intrigues. but we do see like the civilization that's there, the court. It's all exquisite, like everything is, there's jades and rosewood, everything, and it's just exquisite craftsmanship. The empire is flourishing. There's like commerce with all the other countries, like the Silk Road, things like that. Obviously it's based on China in the 9th century, something like that, 10th century. Yeah, so it's very, very interesting. And in all this, there's also Tai's sister, who's been kind of sold in marriage to the tribesmen of the North Plains, north of the Great Wall. And they're kind of like, you know, horse people as well, but they're kind of barbarians. And the sister has to figure out what she's going to do as well, and Tai is pretty pissed off about this as well. So there's all of these. There's also a lady at court that Tai had a relationship with when he was a young student, and she's now the concubine of the prime minister. So he seems to be at the center of all these goings on. It's kind of a perfect story, to be honest. Like, it's so well written. The world is rich. The characters are very interesting. It's very regimented as society. Like, there's things you do, things that you don't do, and everyone kind of knows their place. It's very interesting. So I would say, like, if you enjoy politics, if you enjoy the East, like Asian inspired fantasy, you would probably enjoy this. It's very, very intricate. The only thing that I didn't entirely like is that Tai is kind of, he's not as active as I would want him to be. In a way, he's kind of reactive. And also he has he's riding one of those amazing heavenly horses. I would have liked the horses to be a bit more of a central protagonist in the story, because they're important. And the Tang Dynasty, which is the inspiration for this, were obsessed with horses. They have exquisite sculptures and paintings of horses, and I would have liked maybe to have like that horse's relationship, like maybe personality emerge a bit more. And yeah, I would have enjoyed that. But otherwise, yeah, it's quite lovely. I gave this five stars. It's entertaining, it's beautiful, it's just philosophical, political. There's nothing to say. There's nothing to critique that much. I would say probably, I think the characters are also very interesting, especially the sister Li Mei and her, what's happening to her. It seems a bit unconnected to the rest of the story, but at the same time it is, magically speaking, it's great. So, yeah, definitely if you want to start with Gavriel, you don't know where to start, it's a good starting point. Because you don't need to read the second book. You know, it can be read as a standalone. However, I'm going to talk about this as well, River of Stars. I've seen a lot of opinions on Gavriel books, and a lot of people say like Under Heaven is one of his best, and I agree, it's really good. And they say like this is less so, but I actually like this one more. I think it's because I enjoyed the characters a bit more, and I felt that they had a bit more agency or a bit more power over their lives or something. This is the story, like it's set centuries after this. And the events of this really impact how the world is run in River of Stars. Like the society that was the golden age in Under Heaven is kind of diminished in River of Stars in a way. They don't no longer have all the territories in the Silk Road, and they're more closed in on their own. There's still a lot of power-hungry people, emperors that are kind of cut, not really knowing what's going on in the world. They're kind of relying on their prime ministers, and the impact of what happened in Under Heaven is very, very felt in this book. The way that soldiers are commissioned, the way that they handle their soldiers, the way they handle everything. And of course everyone, like the ones that are paying the price of all the mistakes are always the smaller folk, the peasants, everyone, even the soldiers. There's also very interesting events in this book that kind of reflect real history, that there's the emperor wanted to create a garden in his main city, and this garden is supposed to reflect the whole of Kitai, or the whole world for them, because there's no world outside of Kitai for them. And this garden is supposed to have all the plants and the animals, like they're importing nightingales from all the corners of the country, and the emperor is very fascinated with rocks, which actually happened in real life, and he's having big rocks dragged all across the country, and it's destroying crops and it's destroying lives because it's killing people. It's crazy. And this garden is a marvel, really, to walk in, but it's kind of an exclusive place. Only the rich and influential are there. And yeah, the emperor is an artist, exquisite art. He's just not maybe a war general or anything like that. So yeah, the Kitai is diminished and paranoid a bit about its army and its generals. And in this Ren Dayan is a young man who is kind of not meant for great things. He's from a very faraway province, and he's just supposed to be someone who works in government, maybe, or a small fry, you know. It's not well seen for kind of well-born people to go into the army. That's only for like lowly peasants. So he's kind of, he wants to reconquer all the lost lands of Kitai. That's his dream, but it can't really happen. So he makes decisions in his life, and he feels like he's due for a bigger purpose than what he was born for. And I really enjoy Ren. He's an amazing character. There's also Lin Shan, who is the daughter of a middle-level clerk. He's nothing special, but he kind of educated, and the father educated the daughter like she was a son, which is kind of a trope that's we see a lot, but it's always enjoyable. I like the way Kay handled that. Lin Shan, she kind of straddles two worlds. She can't be totally a woman, and she can't totally be a man, and she's kind of stuck in the middle. Very interesting the way he handles that. Very subtle. I enjoy that. I think it's one of his best women portrayal in all his books. One of his best. Not like I had some other ladies that I enjoyed, but that one was great. And so Lin Shan is kind of a poet as well. So there's a lot of poetry in both books. Very beautiful, very interesting. So what sets Kitai apart from the other countries that we see around, like Mongolia or Tibet, is that they're all about beauty, art, elevating everything, architecture, like the beautiful, nice things in life. Obviously, it's not like, oh, survival mode, everyone has to have food, and they don't really view things that way. It's the greater picture is always more important than the smaller fry, the small things. So it's kind of a, we see that happening everywhere. And also it's not necessarily bad either. Like, beautiful things are important for our souls, for our well-being. If everything is ugly around us, we don't feel that good. So yeah, I was very impressed with this one. Also, I think the characters are more vivid for me in this one, less stage, and even if and I think the events are more interesting too for me. So I don't know why people like this one less than Under Heaven. They're both 5 stars. They're lovely, and yeah, nothing to say. I enjoy that. And you get mad at some events, at some, like the people in power pissing me off all the time, which is great, which is what we want, you know, like, yeah, they were making decisions and you're like, oh my god, why would you do that? Yeah, like real life. So yeah, River of Stars, it's always like, and both of them, it's always like the aspirations of people, like what they want. You know, it's the trope of like, oh, I'm meant for destiny. I'm gonna do this. This is gonna give this result. In Under Heaven, it's not that way. Kitai. Like you can influence events if you have enough power, or even if you don't have that much power. But it's not gonna go always as you planned. So it's always the people dreaming big, thinking like they can manipulate events and put the chess pieces on the board and just like check. But there's a lack of control at some point. Like they don't control everything. So the actual last word is kind of a mix of everything. So that reflects life a bit more than sometimes what you see in fantasy. So yeah, overall, some fantastic reads, and I highly recommend them. So let me know if you've read them, what you thought. If I gave you if you say, oh, maybe I'll pick them up because of this review, I would like to hear that. Or if you disagree with me completely. So yeah, let me know and see you next time.